Laila. Happy birthday, Dylan Thomas and the Eagles. So it's Sunday, it's the beginning of the academic year. I made a decision not to do my teaching certificates at the university. So I'm not studying this year. I think my master's is enough. And sadly, I had to let go of the incomplete teaching certificate. I was missing one course in Hebrew grammar to be an English teacher, and they wanted me to repeat everything. At the seminar at the university, I would have done a teaching certificate in social science, which I don't know what that means actually, because I always taught English. So it's Dylan Thomas's birthday. I wanted to say that when you study at the seminar, at Kibbutzim at least, I didn't have one course in English literature, although it's part of the matriculation, and it's a very important part of language. They teach grammar in a way that is so lifeless and so unloving to language. I love language, and English language is important for me, and I think that's my main criticism and why I'm so allergic to repeating the teaching certificate in English. Because I think literature is very important, and that's the way I would teach English. I wouldn't teach English through grammar exercises, because it's artificial, and that's not how we learn language. And if you teach English, you should teach it the way I learned French, which is through poetry. I had a wonderful teacher from Paris, and she taught us through poetry that to this day I cherish, whether it's Jacques Prévert, or whether it's Victor Hugo, or whether it's the music of Georges Moustaki, who is also a poet. And the same thing, that's the same way I would teach English, through the lyrics of songs, the lyrics of Eagles, Beatles, modern music. Because language is emotional. We express our feelings through languages. And teaching a language through grammar is just massacring it. And unfortunately, there are a lot of dead people who don't have a connection between their heart and their mind. Everything is disconnected and separated into little neat categories, and they're good at filing papers. So when the head of the program wanted me to resubmit all my transcripts, even though it's there since 25 years, it's in the stupid seminar, all my transcripts, everything I did at the Hebrew University, everything I did at Lesley University in Boston, my master's, my thesis, everything is there, but they wanted me to resubmit it. So I have to go to the university, pay again, get all the paperwork done, for what? And then they don't want to take me because I complained to the Board of Education. So, and then she's angry that I complained and wrote angry letters. Because these people don't know how to deal with emotions. So they go into these classes of 37 kids, and they expect a teacher to be this stick in the mud, unemotional, and treat young people as if they're like computers that you have to program with languages. That's not how you teach. Teaching is a very emotional act, and emotions are not a bad thing. What's bad is losing control over your emotions and passive aggression, which is what I experienced from Seminar Kibbutzim. And in general, this passive aggression that's in the Board of Education, where the supervisor doesn't like the way I do things. Well, sorry, but I had other things to do in life, and I didn't finish one course in Hebrew grammar. Big deal. Do you need English teachers? That's what I heard you do. Can I deal with things? I think I can. I worked in the prison system teaching English. I think I can deal with a lot of things single-handed, by the way, without a team, without support, because the woman who got money to be the organizer never had meetings. So I had to always do it on my own. I never had a team to work with. I had to beg for people to give me work pages that were relevant. I just came to Israel and I had no idea what I'm supposed to teach, because I hadn't been teaching for years, and they just didn't even help me out. They were too busy doing anything else but focusing on teaching, because it wasn't important for them. It wasn't a priority for them as it was for me. I felt like really stupid. trying to do a good job. And I spent so much hours after school preparing work pages and doing it all on my own, except for a little help. And they used, if they gave me any help or work pages, it's like they're doing me a big favor. So now it's Dylan Thomas's birthday, and he was a poet, and he has this poem about do not go gentle into the good night. Old age burn and rage at close of day. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. I think light is a symbol of enlightenment, of seeing things. And if you do not rage, if you're not angry, when people choose to live in darkness, choose to live in ignorance, and don't want to encourage pupils to learn, to be curious, to develop their emotions, develop their ability to express themselves in words. If you don't want to do that, if you're not excited and passionate about teaching, don't be the head of a program in a teaching seminar. If you're dead inside, don't teach. Do anything. Work in an office, filing papers, but do not teach. And as for poetry, it should be taught. Poetry should be taught. Poetry is important. And as they say, poetry doesn't give you the news, but without it, people die terrible deaths daily, E.E. Cummings said. So there's a poem by Dylan Thomas, who was born today, 27th of October 1914, Clown in the Moon. Clown in the moon, my tears are like the quiet drift of petals from some magic rose, and all my grief flows from the rift of unremembered skies and snows. I think that if I touched the earth, it would crumble. It is so sad and beautiful, so tremulously like a dream. So life is very fragile. And I am allergic to bureaucracy, and especially in teaching. When I went to the university, first they got me all excited. Oh, you're going to get scholarship because you have a master's degree with a thesis. We're going to don't have to pay. You don't have to pay. And then 1 week after I took classes last semester, the secretary said, you cannot go into classes until you pay us a few thousand shekels. And I'm like, but you said I'm going to get a scholarship. And the whole point is it was all about money. And you have to understand the universities are all about money and making money. They don't care about the quality. There are very few lecturers that really are passionate about teaching. And your chance of meeting a passionate lecturer are like, I think we have expectations when we go into universities that we are actually going to study and go, it's called higher education, but a lot of times it's lower education because they don't care. They're busy writing their little papers so they can get it's fantastic to work at the university. They have excellent conditions to get great salaries, get great vacations, and a lot of people want to be lecturers at the university. But do they have passion? Do they care about what they teach? Very, 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 very few. I cannot even remember anyone I encountered that I could say, wow, they really care about teaching me. And I remember one developmental psychology professor was amazing. And theater studies, one guy that was like all about being original, and two lectures and one BA with so many courses I took. My master's class, there was a whole different story. But what I want to tell you is rage and being angry and having emotions is not bad. But we teach people to be, especially these days, to be little computers, to store knowledge. And emotions and learning are together. You cannot study unless you feel excited about what you're studying. And literature is about feelings, it's about emotions. And if you teach a piece of literature without any emotion, without any passion, you kill it. And you give the pupils a dead corpse, and you're dealing with death. You're not dealing with life. And a lot of dead people that are dead inside who are teaching. And frankly, I don't want to be part of that. So yes, my future is very unclear financially and otherwise, but hopefully I would find a position in outside of the Board of Education in unconventional settings, because teaching takes place everywhere. And so happy birthday to Dylan Thomas. I've always wanted to see where he was born in Wales, and one day maybe I will make this trip. But poetry is actually right here, where everything is. And emotions are important, and you should rage on, but in a good way. And if you see people that are dead inside, Halloween is coming. It's good for Halloween, but death is not something that's good to be around, emotional death or otherwise. And there are a lot of people that are dead inside. And if you're really excited and passionate about what you're doing, you shouldn't be around people that are dead inside. Peace, light, and love.